Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. You don't know my story. You don't know the things that I've come through. You cannot imagine the trials that I've had to endure. You don't know my story. You cannot imagine the strongholds and the walls that severed me. You don't know my story. You cannot imagine the anguish and the guilt that consumed me. You don't know my story. It's amazing how this gospel song said so much while saying so little about my life. My story has had many major characters, some minor characters, unimaginable plots and twists, many heroes and villains, and all types of endings. For every mountain is a story that recounts the day in which I starred in the role of a lifetime, a role in which I thought I would never be cast. But as I stand here today, at least you know that this story does have a happy ending. And unfortunately, not all who have been through this are here today to share their story. It was the year 2014, and I was nearing my final semester of graduate school. One day, an older gentleman contacts me on Facebook, and he seemed nice. And so we spoke for some months, and then finally we decided to pursue a long-term relationship. Everything was rainbows and butterflies, peaches and cream at first. He was a gentleman, and I established a deep connection with both him and his daughter. But one day, one single event changed the course of our relationship, and it became a series of unfortunate events after that. I decided to tell him that I was going to an event with one of my male co-workers. He became upset by this, and when he came to pick me up from class, he drove so erratic, like a madman, without any regard to my safety, his safety, or anyone else's safety on the road. And unfortunately, that was the first of many times that I saw his rage, and the first of many times where he blatantly disrespected me verbally, emotionally, and one time with a physical threat. One fateful night changed the course of my life. This was the night that I thought that I would be dead at the age of 25. That afternoon, we had gotten into an argument. And arguing became almost our native tongue of language. And that argument got me so mad that I accidentally, and I do mean accidentally, broke his apartment window. When he came home that night from work, I had told him what happened because either way it goes, I knew that I was screwed. He reacted beyond what I could ever comprehend or imagine. He called me every vulgar, demeaning word that you could ever call a woman, words that I can't even repeat in this chapel. And he then ran downstairs, and when he came back up with the gun. He cocked it back and pointed it at me, and he threatened to kill me and end my life. And in his eyes, I saw someone who did not have any remorse for wanting to take my life. And why? Because I broke his apartment window. You would have thought that after this situation that I would have left. But no, I stayed. And as I stayed, he became even more controlling. He became more controlling about what I wore, who I hung out with. And I was expected to spend every waking moment with him and be beyond a girlfriend, be a wife, and a mother to his child. I became depressed, and I cried myself to sleep every night. And I lost so much of myself in that relationship. And I remember praying consistently for God to get me out of this tumultuous relationship and to give me the resources that I needed to leave. I needed a new job and I needed a new car. One day, everything that I prayed for came to pass. I got a new job here in San Antonio that would give me a new beginning. And I got a new car. And most of all, I got the strength to leave that relationship. We had gotten into an argument again on an afternoon, and he kicked me out of his apartment. And I remember hearing a voice inside of me that said, "Go, just go." And I remember getting everything I could that would fit in my arms, and I ran out of that apartment like my life depended on it, and I never looked back since, and that was 3 years ago. A mountain is a barrier, is a wall that keeps you from getting to your destination. And you have to keep climbing and climbing. And it's hard. You get scratches, you get bruises, and you become so emotionally drained. But you know that you have to keep on climbing, because once you get to the top, you feel so relieved and you feel so victorious, like you can defeat anything that comes at you. I've had many mountains in my life. This relationship, I've been lied on, I've been talked about, I've been hurt, I've been weary, I've cried so many tears. I've lost my mom, and I've been through the lowest of the lowest that you could ever imagine. But for every mountain, I'm here today, and I'm still standing, and I'm still strong, and I'm still making it. And for each and every one of you, no matter what you may be going through or what you may have gone through, just know that your situation is never your conclusion. And just know, too, that if I can stand here today and tell you about how I made it, you can make it too. Each and every one of you have a story. You survived, and you survived, and you survived. I know it's been hard, and I know that it hurts, but you can make it. Your situation is not your conclusion. And just know always that the best is still unwritten. Madam Toastmaster.